What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Real quick, just want to let you know the biggest sale of the year is happening at thetimetellershop.com November 29th. That's Black Friday at midnight Pacific Standard Time. You do not want to miss out. The prices will never be any better than this until next Black Friday, so don't miss out. Use this coupon code. Screenshot it, okay? If you go to the website right now, you won't see anything because I'm trying to give everyone a fair shake, okay? When the clock strikes 12, November 29th, Black Friday, everything goes live. Guys, the watches you see there are ridiculous, serviced with a 1-year warranty, and the prices are even more ridiculous, okay? So when you go there and you see those prices, don't worry. You use this coupon code and the prices somehow get even lower. So please don't miss out. Please don't write to me that I didn't give you enough heads up. Use that coupon code midnight Pacific Standard Time, Black Friday. That is November 29th. It's going down. So thank you so much. Enjoy the episode. I love you. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. So about a week ago, I made an episode titled Everything Wrong with Watch Collecting, and it was a good time. I honestly had a good bit of fun blowing off some steam and poking fun at some of the people out there taking themselves a bit too seriously about their wristwatches. But all jokes aside, okay, let's face it, pretty much every other episode on this channel, I exclusively poke fun at myself. So listen. Okay, I had some people writing to me and they're like, if you hate watch collecting so much, why are you doing it? Guys, it was mostly a joke, but you make a good point. So let's make an episode today, everything right about watch collecting. And I had a few of my buddies that watch this channel be like, hey, you should try to make an episode about everything right about watch collecting. And looking back at the episode that I made last week, Everything Wrong with Watch Collecting, I think I distilled everything down to 5 key points. When I went to go make this episode, I was like, how could I possibly distill my love for watch collecting down to 5 key points? Because let's be honest, guys, the goods vastly outweigh the bads in this hobby. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it because my life is consumed by wristwatches. Okay, if it's not filming an episode about wristwatches or taking pictures of wristwatches, it's getting wristwatches inspected and serviced and meeting with watchmakers. And then it's posting watches up on my website. And then if it's not that, it's packaging the watches and shipping the watches out to other watch enthusiasts. And it's probably, destroying my relationship with my family and Connie because they're like, hey, Jory, how was your day? And I'm just like, hey, did you hear about this new tourbillon? And they're like, okay, I just wanted to hear that you loved me. I'm like, I love this new G-Shock Neo Tokyo coming out. That's something. Tell someone you love them today, people. You don't always got to talk about watches, all right? Let's just, Connie, if you're watching this, I love you. I love that dang G-Shock Neo Tokyo a little bit more. I'm just kidding. But all jokes aside, okay, there are a lot of things that are very, very right about watch collecting. So I'm going to try to distill my love to 5 key points. So without further ado, everything right about watch collecting. It's 12:10 p.m. Let's get down to business. All right, the first thing I love about watch collecting, and probably honestly my favorite thing about watch collecting, is the people. Okay, screw the watches, it's the people, and I mean that, guys. Okay, you guys, you peoples have changed my life in ways I never thought possible. And I'm serious. I'm making jokes because it's almost hard, not to get emotional about this. But since I've started this channel, and even before, having this hobby, you immediately have a connection with other people that are interested in the same things as you. And this goes for any other hobby, but specifically, we're talking about watches. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter even what kinds of watches you're interested in. If you meet someone and they're wearing a watch and you strike up a conversation, you learn a little bit about what they like, and they learn a little bit about what you like. It's cool. You have an immediate connection. You got something in common. And I just did the Thanos snap. Boom, 50% of Invicta's gone. Now I'm thinking of Thanos, actually. When Connie comes home and finds out I bought a new watch, she's like, how much did it cost, Jory? And I'm like, everything. Connie is gonna hate this episode, actually, I realize now. But seriously, guys, the people, it's amazing, and it's just crazy to think that I've interacted with people, and I interact with people consistently from almost like every continent. I don't know if there are any watch collectors in Antarctica, but if you're there, I will find you and I will tell you about how much Seikos rule. But seriously, guys, I've had the opportunity to meet people that I never thought I ever would, and I'm not talking about, you know, bigwigs or executives, or I met with Rolex. I literally met with Mr. Rolex. There's a guy named Rolex. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, like, I spoke to someone from France the other day. I spoke to someone from Malaysia the other day. I've shipped watches to literally Malaysia, Italy, a few in Germany, some in UK, just Australia, everywhere, guys. And then there's people in my inbox from every walks of life, and it's incredible, and I'm blessed, and I'm super lucky, and it's just crazy that it doesn't matter literally where you're from or, you know, what your background is. We all have this common love of watches. And so with everything going on in the world right now, and everything being kind of just a little too deep, a little too serious, it's very, very comforting to know that, you know, doesn't matter what's going on, we can just sit and chill and talk about a wristwatch. And I don't know, that's it's just a great feeling, and that's love, man. That's the only thing I can really say. It's love. And so the people, that's the first thing very, very right about watch collecting. Which brings me to the second thing I love about watch collecting, and it kind of ties into the people. It's differing opinions, right? Differing opinions. That's amazing. And I know people think that's a bad thing, but it's not. Why would a different opinion be bad? Guys, I love Seiko. I love Rolex. In fact, I mentioned it in one of my live streams, my top 5 favorite watch companies. I'm gonna make a separate episode about that, but you guys know that my 2 favorite companies are Seiko and Rolex. Okay, I know people, a lot of people in my comment section that think, you know, Seikos are just kind of overhyped and they're raising their prices and they do too many limited editions. I kind of agree about that part, the limited editions part. And then there's also a lot of people in my comment section that think Rolex is all marketing, and that's perfectly fine. We can like what we like and dislike what we dislike. That's a-okay. You guys that watch my content, I'm sure a lot of you don't agree with 100% of what comes out of my mouth, but we have a good time interacting with each other, and again, that's all that matters, guys. There are people that I interact with regularly that wear Invictas. All right, I think Invicta is the bane of my existence. Doesn't mean I hate that person or I don't value their opinion, because they say other things and they have other opinions that I really do agree with. So differences in opinion, I think it spices things up and makes things a little spicy. Ooh. Because if we didn't have any differing opinions, things would be a little bit bland. So that's why I always ask you guys, please comment in the comment section below, tell me what you think, because I do read all those comments. And I love hearing about someone being like, oh, you know, I agreed with this point, but I disagree with that point, and I actually really like this watch because this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And that's so cool. Guys, I am here yelling in front of a camera, telling you my opinions, so it's only fair that you guys tell me yours. And I love it. Differences of opinions, boom. That's right. The next thing, I believe we're on number 3. The next thing I love about watch collecting, the watch world, and this is specifically about collecting, it's the hunt. The thrill of the hunt. This is kind of an intangible feeling, right? And this is why I really don't like subscription services. It's because it totally negates that feeling, right? Finding things that you like and then seeking out and trying to get them for yourselves. It's just incredible, and that's what I think is kind of the addictive attribute of watch collecting, or collecting anything, but specifically, you know, vintage collecting. You can get yourself in some big trouble there, because you find something you like, spend a lot of time going after it, you get it, and then, you know, that feeling might kind of dissipate, but then you immediately comes back for another watch. So yeah, watch collecting is not monogamous. You're gonna be trying to get a bunch, and that's fun. I love that feeling. I love the thrill of the hunt. And yeah, again, it's kind of intangible. You know, there's these things, people try to explain the honeymoon phase. Ooh, I just got this watch and it's the only thing I want to wear for like a month straight, but then once it goes away, I need to find another one, and this and that, and it's pretty much, you know, a terrible, crippling drug addiction, essentially. That's why I tell everybody, if you're not already into watches, don't start. Which brings me to the next thing I love about watch collecting. This is number 4. It's a game that never really has to end. And again, don't dry up your savings account. Don't blow all your money. But I tell everybody, you don't even really need to own a watch to be a watch enthusiast. Right? I really like Ferraris. I really like F1 racing. I'm obsessed with rally racing. I kind of do have a rally. I have a STI. I have a Subaru STI, but I don't have a Ferrari. I don't have an F1 race car. You can be an enthusiast of something and not own that thing. So in that sense, watch collecting, being a watch enthusiast, it's a game that doesn't really have an end point. You can always find something to read and learn about. And social media is what often gets us in trouble, because there are watches that I don't even know the reference numbers of, but I come across a picture of it online or on Instagram, and then I'm like, wait, what is that? And then I spend, I obsessively hunt for it for like a week, and then I find it, and then I want to buy one, and that never really ends. This is kind of melting into the thrill of the hunt, but yeah, there's books I recommend. A Man and His Watch. Let's see, we got one here. The Watch Thoroughly Revised. Books that I would absolutely recommend. There's magazines on watches. You don't even really need to be spending a ton of money on this hobby, although, inevitably you will. I know you will. You will, because I do. I have no self-control, and I'm gonna make you join in with me on this terrible, 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 terrible addiction. But the good news is, outside of spending money on an internet connection, a computer, and maybe some books and magazines, you don't really have to blow all your money on the actual watches. You can just learn about them. And hey, my content's free, guys, so you can just, keep watching my videos. I'm not that big of a deal or anything, but I make content about 4 times a week, talking about wristwatches, and I don't charge you anything for it, but had someone complain that I had 2 ads on one of my recent episodes. They literally commented on the episode, and they were like, wow, 2 ads on this episode, it kept interrupting me. I couldn't even make it to the end. It's like, so sorry that my ability to make a living interrupted your free content. You know what? I don't know how long this episode's gonna be, but I'm gonna put as many ads as I can, because I don't even care about watches. I want money. But yeah, guys, it's a game that never has to end, and I love it. Which brings me to the 5th and final thing that is absolutely right about watch collecting. And I know I'm gonna probably have to make another installment about this, because there are so many things I absolutely love about watch collecting. I just realized this kind of ties into people. All of this really ties into people, but the memories, and the energy kind of dropped because I'm getting kind of serious. It's the memories, guys. My dad, who's one of the most important people to me ever, got me into watches. Growing up, he always had a watch on his wrist, so that I was always familiar with them. I didn't always know a whole lot about them, but my dad, looking at him growing up, like, he was the pinnacle of cool. So I was like, dang, if the coolest guy I know wears a watch, watches must be pretty dang cool. So that was kind of an easy segue for me to want to get into watches. And I'm fortunate enough to have a watch that he got when he graduated school. And then I'm fortunate enough to have my great-grandfather's watch. I even have my dad's watch. So I have my dad's watch, my grandfather's watch, and my great-grandfather's watch. And again, I collect vintage watches, and the thrill of that is just kind of, this might be a little bit too romantic and kind of woo-woo and kind of out there, but it's like, who wore this watch before me? For instance, right now I'm wearing my Rolex Date 1500. This is absolutely a regular on my wrist. This is from the 60s, the 1960s, and it's kind of fun to think, it's like, okay, this is probably going to be in my collection forever until I give it to, a family member when I'm old. But how many people wore this before me, and what experiences did they have? And it's again, kind of romantic to think about that, but it's the memories, whether it be, a family member, a friend gave you a watch. I have a whole bunch of watches that Connie's gotten me throughout the years, and those are like the most important pieces in my collection. So those remind me of her. And then I have, the watches that my family members have given me, my dad, my mom, and it's the memories, dude. And again, I guess this all kind of ties into people, but watch collecting is about a whole lot more than watches. And whether it be my family members, whether it be the people that watch my episodes, whether it be the people that comment under the pictures I take on Instagram, whether it be the people in my inbox, or just someone that bumps into me on the street and wants to strike up a conversation, that is the best part of watch collecting. So guys, I had some fun making fun of the watch world, but there's a whole lot that's right with the watch world. So you guys are the biggest part of it. So I want to thank you, honestly. We just recently broke past 80,000 subscribers. Never thought we'd get here. Never thought we'd get anywhere near here. And we're still going strong. So with your help, we're going to keep this going for as long as possible. And I'm not giving up, and don't give up on me either, guys. So I love you. Thank you so much. Let's continue this addiction together and we'll make it through. Love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I love you. And it's just crazy. So there's a bunch of ways to support the channel. Easiest one, click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Yeah, more content on the way. And more expressions of my love for this terrible hobby. All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller. And always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. And another thing that I just really quick want to bring up, my editors, this is gonna blow your mind. My editors aren't, like, they're not people that I would truly consider to be enthusiasts. Like, they're not true enthusiasts of watches, probably until they met me and started interacting with this content. So I would love to hear about what they think of watch collecting. That might have to be a whole other hobby, but that might be a fun outside perspective. But yeah, the reason I'm putting this in at the end of the episode is because I'm not trying to put words in my editor's mouth, but I'm sure they want to thank you as well, because everything we're trying here, whether it be all the content we make 4 times a week, the shop that we're running, everything, we couldn't have done it without you. So you're not just helping me out, you're helping my editors. So from all of our hearts here at the Time Teller channel, we love you. Real quick, if you enjoyed this episode, then do not worry, the fun doesn't need to stop here. Check out these recommended episodes that are gonna be popping up on the screen anytime now. Also, take a moment, check out my brand new channel, the Time Away channel. It's where I talk about everything outside of the watch world, some of my other collections, some of my other hobbies. And if you're not interested in any of that, don't worry, just stay right here and I will see you right here. Because I never leave. I am trapped inside of this camera.